In early December, public schools in Cambridge, Massachusetts shut down in-person learning after the number of average daily coronavirus cases soared and its wastewater showed high levels of the novel coronavirus. Monitoring the community's sewage water is one of three metrics the city is using to decide whether to switch to remote learning. A company called BioBot tests and analyzes the water.
When you are infected, you start shedding the virus within your stool relatively quickly. So before you might even know you're infected, the wastewater analysis knows you're infected. So that gives you a heads up look at what is to come.
Heisner says the company is able to predict the occurrence of clinically reported cases by 4 to 10 days. Monitoring wastewater for infectious diseases is not unprecedented. It was done in Israel in 2014 to help contain a polio outbreak there. But it's been relatively uncommon until now. Since the coronavirus pandemic hit, cities across the United States have begun monitoring their sewage to get a better sense of how much of the virus is circulating in their communities. If wastewater shows a higher prevalence of the coronavirus than clinical testing, officials know they need to do more testing. The data can also help forecast which neighborhoods will see the biggest outbreaks. David Hamer, professor of global health and medicine at Boston University, says wastewater analysis is most effective in smaller settings.
Say if you do it for a dormitory and you're tracking like 10 dormitories on a campus and one of them suddenly becomes positive, you're going to want to go in and do enhanced testing of everybody living in that location. And so you can develop sort of tailored strategies to try and detect cases and then identify them, separate them, put them in isolation, do contact tracing, put those people in quarantine, and try and snuff out an outbreak before it spreads.
In August, the University of Arizona successfully prevented an outbreak using wastewater testing. Dozens of colleges across the country are now employing the same strategy to monitor their dorms. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recently created a national wastewater surveillance system to gather local findings. Heisner believes analyzing what we flush could outlast the pandemic.
There are a lot of things that public health experts can learn from what is running underneath our feet, and I think that it should definitely be part of a complete public health strategy for any state or federal government going forward.
Karina, CGTN, Cambridge, Massachusetts.